Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of the Chatellite. Ooh, look at this fancy new thing
Ooh.
that I'm trying. Um, Essentially, a lot of you guys might be like, "Hey Maz, don't you have a podcast already with Rushlight, Invade, and Lodi?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." But that in that one, I kind of showcased my more manic, more comedic side with my guests. And in this one, similar to how I did with Katzoon, I just want to kind of have a one-on-one chat with them, just see where they are at and see how they're going. And the first guest that I've chosen is Pantsless Pajamas.
Hello.
This is PJ, all right?
Yes, you may not know me. I'm very new to Maz's channel.
We've never talked. This is my first guest, all right? We're not even friends, all right? Not
Right?
really.
We're hardly even acquaintances, okay? Slow your roll.
Just to date ourselves, that's gonna make all the shippers go insane. But to date
Maz,
this
you don't know
podcast,
what you said yesterday. I'm just saying. It's too
wait,
late.
did I say something worse?
Oh,
Oh,
Maz, you
oh,
said in the most
what?
direct way. Oh my gosh, you don't remember.
What? No, what did I actually? Wait, now I'm worried. Wait, what?
Okay, I don't. There's shippers can only take. Okay, no, shippers
Okay,
will
hold on.
only
To
want to
give
take.
context, so this is January the 2nd. So yesterday there was a New Year's stream, and
Uh-huh.
PJ did a stream for the New Year's, and I was so sleep deprived. I literally do not remember what was happening. So what did I do? What did I actually do? What did I say?
Well, okay, I don't know if you remember at least like the slightly bit of the beginning. You know, you and I were getting sentimental, right? We were remembering
Oh
things.
yeah,
We
yeah,
were
it's sentiments.
reminiscing. Yeah,
Okay.
you remember that, obviously.
Yes, yes.
And like, I got into this entire spiel and I started like talking about like how you were helpful to me and how you were a great friend. And then like you like, went into this entire like, yeah, you're a super close friend to me too, and you're great, and like I'm happy you exist. And I was like, oh yeah, look at us, we're being all gay. And then like at one point you were just like, yeah, you're my right hand man. You take my hand, laddie takes my organs. It's all great. And then you said, I'm like, shippers will only want to take this one way. And you said, everyone has a place in my heart, and you have somehow taken my heart. And I'm like,
Oh,
Maz.
there you go. Shippers, there you go. That's. I don't even
I
remember
was,
saying
bro.
that.
I was like, Maz is so tired. He's not gonna remember this the next
I
day. And I was right.
I think I like once again, I have no idea as to what I actually said. I think what I meant to say was if everybody has taken a place in my heart, you've taken the lining of it, like on the outside, like you're like on the lining, and I wanted to give everybody a place in my heart, but then I just ended up saying you just have my heart, I guess, the entire thing. There you go, guys. So that's
Look at
my
Maz trying to justify himself.
that's my admission of feelings. There you go. I'm on one knee right now, like ready to ready to propose.
Oh man, guys, he just sent me the ring emoji.
I wish, that if that was a way somebody got proposed, that's like I don't even know if I can get mad at that. Just send a ring emoji.
Dude,
it's like
I'm actually kind of happy into that.
I don't know that, yeah.
Yeah. Look at us.
So 2019's we're in 2019, well
Yes.
underway. And everyone's being all stereotypically like, this is gonna be new year, new me. I'm gonna own it. Why are you cringing? I haven't even said anything yet.
I just hate that in town.
I just wanted to talk more about like this community, like we're both a little old school, we've been here for a long time. We saw the community when it was in the younger states. I literally saw it when it was just James, Jaden, Alex Clark, Tony V Tunes, and they were the only top people. And Tim Tom was growing at that time. Like I remember it in its infant stages.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's like in 2016, 2017. And now it's 2019, So what do you think is gonna happen to us? Are we gonna die out, PJ? Is that what's gonna happen now? Is it time to die? Can I die now?
Can I finally rest?
Can I rest?
There's no rest. There's no rest for the wicked, Maz.
No.
But I don't know. It's an interesting question because I already feel like where at first we were starting to see a lot of like people making their little like videos or tweets, you know, just against our community, you know, critiquing it, ranting about it, what have you. I'm starting to see a couple more people mentioning the fact that we are dying out because of, you know, like we're an oversaturated genre on YouTube because it's the sort of thing that, you know, anyone can make a Storytime animated video. All you need is this, and this, a story to tell, a microphone, whatever. So many people have sort of jumped on the bandwagon. We've even seen popular people start to do it. You mentioned, God, the other day, I forget exactly who it was. It was some big YouTuber said
Oh,
that they
Logan
wanted to.
Paul?
Yes. Like apparently he wanted to start kind of like
Yeah.
dabbling into it a little bit. Like
Yeah.
they see that it's a cash cow and they want a piece of it, right? Like
Right.
people just keep jumping on board. And on the one hand, while you could say that if like bigger creators start to do things like this, that it might just become more popularized. I mean, you look at what VidCon 2019 is going to be. It is animator dominated. It seems like we're kind of at our like peak, but then people feel like once you hit the top, you know, you can only go down.
Yeah.
And I'm not entirely sure. I really think it depends on how like these next couple of months are crucial. I feel in terms of like how we carry ourselves and what we do will determine like how much longer we thrive. I think.
Right. No, I guess that is fair. That's fair enough. I was talking to, I shouldn't name drop anybody actually, but I was talking to another animator in the community, and they were saying the same, you know, similarly, they were kind of worried that Logan Paul is, you know, and their like might jump on this community because of the fact that like if we have to be associated with them, that's just gonna be you know what I mean? Like, yeah. But then I think my response is they will never go full animation, you know? And similar to how Swoozy is to our community, like whilst we acknowledge Swoozy as the beginning of our community, he's not really involved with us, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
absolutely. Right.
and so I think they'll go a similar route because he's not gonna go full animation. He's gonna, of course, he loves having his face around, you know, and so he's definitely gonna stick to his own thing. And I think another good side effect it might have as well is that because there a lot of, you know, everybody says like we're oversaturated, that we're like, you know, gonna die. I've just got to disagree. A point of oversaturation for me is when it gets to a point where nobody can name all of the creators, right? But I think everyone in the community does is aware of others in the community. There's a lot of us, but we still know each other, you know. Like in the animator workshop that happened at VidCon 2018, we all knew each and every one of us, you know, like we all knew each other. And I think that's still like we might be bordering on saturation, but I don't think we've hit that yet. Like I look at something like gaming or vlogging in which there's so many people that they don't even know or are forgettable, that's when I think it's getting saturated, you know what I mean?
I mean, on the one hand, there are like a couple of probably like very small, like
Younger
younger
people,
creators
yeah.
that we don't know about that are like, I mean, heck, in a way, I am sure there are probably someone, like a couple of people rather out there that like have 50K subs that I've probably never even heard of. I do feel, however, that the difference though with like our community in comparison to some others is that like even when a newbie that's like 13 comes on board, we all kind of leap on them and are just like, hello and welcome.
Well, yeah, it's because we're so lonely.
we're just like, yeah, it's a new friend, please.
Please join us.
Please join us. We don't have any real life friends.
It's just like that. That's exactly it. Everyone in this community knows each other. Like especially the top people. Like they know everybody else, and we know a lot of people, and we're not afraid of talking to them. You know. And so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like we're different, but I do agree we are getting to that stage. Now, a good thing that can happen with Logan Paul coming in is that it will introduce a lot of new younger people to the animation thing. And therefore they'll go looking for more of that style, and then they'll find the established creators like us and, you know, James, Jaden, Adam, Tim, Rebecca Parham, whatever, right? And they'll be like, wow, there's all these new people, and then we'll get another wave of love, you know.
Ooh, okay. I like I like that you used that word because you reminded me of something that I read.
Uh-oh, now I'm worried again.
No, No. Don't be weird. This is actually I found this to be interesting. Okay, so people, how do I say? People have sort of like separated the rises of this community into like waves. Like to some people, like, you know, Swoozie and Domix, they were like the first wave, you know, and then like James, Jaden, Alex, Clark,
Well-
like, you know, when they were like the big boys, they were like second, and like to some people like Adam and Tim Tom kind of came later, and Rebecca Parham and like all these other big boys were like a third.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I was on, I think I was curious because your newest video was just like, I wonder if like my fans are in here, because a couple of them said they wanted to like comment on your video. So I was like scrolling through, and someone left this comment saying that they were like wondering if anyone else agreed with them when they felt that you were somewhat of like one of the leaders to the fourth wave of great animation in this community.
What? Okay, there's so many things wrong. Okay, so firstly, leaders? To whom? Who am I leading? I'm leading my army, sure, of Martians, but like, who the frick?
Okay, like James and Jaden didn't lead anyone, but they were like figureheads, because, you know, they were like big boys that were growing and like taking people, you know, in like a different direction with like the whole Storytime thing. In their own opinion, you stand to be one of those people in like the fourth wave of like big boys.
I want to throw up.
Oh my god, what? That's so sweet. How can you say that?
That's like, that's the, I don't, yeah, I'm not into that. I'm not into that. Because
I don't want to be it.
It's like, you know, I've been here since the, okay, because, you know, I considered Swoozie and Dom as like the OG, you know, they're the baseline. They're like, you can't make a wave because there wasn't anything to start, so they started it, and then the first wave was, you know, James and Jaden and whatever. But I've been here since like second wave onwards, you know, seeing Tim and Adam, seeing, you know, Rebecca Parham and Sultan and Emily and Illymation, and, you know, all the bigger boys grow up after. I just want to be doing my own thing. I don't want to be known as, you know, leading people into it. I'm just doing my thing. Let me dance on my own. You know what I mean?
That's just, you know, like, again, you obviously are on your own. People are just like, they're just kind of putting you there in your mind. James didn't do this to be like, Dab, I'm gonna be the influencer. No, he did his own thing. Like, people view him to be a certain way, and they were like, I guess so. Oh yeah, so that's, in their mind, that is you.
It is very flattering. Like, I'm flattered that people think that, and I guess I
cut back to Maz being like, I want to throw up.
Yeah, I'm flattered, obviously, but it's like, whenever somebody compliments me like that, it's just like, I think it's because it's setting up a precedent that I am. Like, I want to experiment, you know? I'm in such a weird position with regards to like personal life and YouTube life, where, because YouTube is not my income, like, I don't get, my main source of income is not YouTube. I'm not as restricted as perhaps some of the other creators on the genre. You know what I mean? Like, I know I've talked to James and Jaden and Adam, and like, they've expressed how, because they have such a large following this thing, they kind of had to stick with this thing, you know? And whenever they produce an off video, they call it an off video, you know what I mean? And that's what I found interesting, in which, instead of calling like their collabs and their, you know, Marvel recap and their explaining PBS channels, they call it their off videos instead of their videos. And because I'm not as tied down, because once again, I don't get my money from YouTube, I like experimenting. Like, if I was James and Jaden and them, I would not make the most recent video I just made. You know, what would I do what happens at a collab? That's just like a waste of time. But I made it because I like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And similarly, I wouldn't have made Lee. I wouldn't have made half of my animation memes, even though they're gone. I wouldn't have done all those because I'm not tied down, you know? And I'm still, from this point on in 2019, I'm experimenting with a lot of new things. And one of them right now is being worked on. And I just want to experiment, you know, do something new, do something fresh.
I mean, I
So
think that
fresh.
experimentation is what like kind of had that person leaving that comment on your stuff to begin with. Because when I had like I was like thinking about it a little bit, just the fact that like I really loved what you did with the second one, where like you kind of you added your own audio and like
Hmm.
you gave everyone their stupid stretchy mouth visuals, and it was really funny, and it felt like there was a certain amount of interaction that obviously wasn't there because we were just sending you lines solo, and it was very interesting. And like I don't know, I was seeing that it was actually it's doing pretty well, I'd
Hmm.
say, as like far as like a video like that would go, better than one would, I think, or at least I feel. And I was like, you know what, I could see this like sparking something in like a younger creator to be like, I want to do something like that. And as the tale goes in this community, enough people do something, and it
I
becomes
get that. I
a
really,
trend.
yeah. Like once again, Adam said something similar where he's like, "Listen, I watched your new video. It's like pretty lit," and I was like, that's obviously such a nice thing to say, but once again, that's just one of the experiments. I was like, what if I put them in a sound booth, and what if it was like me interacting with them? And obviously, I felt really weird because what I did was I listened to the audio and I recorded myself, like literally. I recorded myself and my genuine reactions. So a lot of them are my genuine reactions. um, and I felt weird laughing at Adam, and then I'm like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like I'm adding my own laugh track on top of Adam's laugh track, and I'm like, this is stupid. This is this is so stupid.
I guess that was one of the ones where I was like, I know Maz would never just like, okay, let us script. I laugh with him and then I say this thing. I felt like, yeah, that was like a genuine reaction. I can
That's
imagine
so
how weird that feels.
stupid. It felt super weird, but it's like
I
once again,
loved it though. Like
yeah,
I liked listening to your little add-ons. I thought
yeah.
it was like a good touch.
I don't know, it was fine. There's a lot more that I could have added. Like Laddie and Jaden's one are freaking hilarious because they're just so silly when they're recording. And Laddie especially, I gave her one line, like literally one line, and she gave me like a 10 minute of bloopers. I'm like, I can make a video with just you in this. It's just
Yes.
just you.
Just
Um,
Laddie.
just Laddie, it takes my organs. And I have like the background ready for Laddie and her stickers, including an organ in it. Um, but who knows? Maybe I'll do it in like mid-year. I don't want to saturate it with this kind of content.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've been kind of mulling over, that I thought would be interesting to kind of raise up with you specifically. Well, maybe not you specifically, but just like, because I've mentioned this previously as well. Um, is the idea of like like the animator rewinds and the community wide thing that people do.
Yeah.
They're like, we should do a rewind, and I know Macario did one with a lot of us that he animated. I really want to do that with the community, and I know we talked about this in the episode with Damn Plan. Um, but it's like I wish we could do like an entire community wide wrangling project. You know what I mean? That
Yes.
would be so cool. Why don't we? Like, if we like we're so blessed to to know everybody in the community, and yet we don't utilize that in any way whatsoever. You know what I mean? It's like
Well, it's like you say, with every sort of project that brings in multiple people, there has to be a showrunner.
I get
They need
that.
to organize the people and orchestrate. And as you yourself experienced being surrounded by those very same animators at last year's VidCon, they needed someone to guide them along.
Rest in peace. Yeah, I guess so. But I don't know. It's just like I think that would be a really cool thing. I don't know what we could do though. It's like I don't want to do like I guess we could do a rewind style, I guess. But it's
Yeah.
like I just I'm thinking about what we could do that's better. What could we do to showcase each of us instead of just our visuals? Because if we're known as storytime animators or visual storytellers or whatever, or cartoonists, whatever label you want to have for us, I think we should have an idea that incorporates our like us telling a story along with the visuals. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I don't know. I know.
I mean, that would be again. That even calls for more, or like more organization, I think, because then, like, you know, when you have an entire concept like that slapped onto it, like, you need to be like telling like a story between like how many freaking people you're bringing on to the project. That would be very difficult to do. And maybe that's I think that in and of itself is exactly why no video like that is really around, other than, you know, the one that Akario made.
I want to do it. I want to do it. You know what?
Oh, there he is.
You know what?
There's the boy.
You know what? You know what? I'll do it. All right. I'll freaking do it right now. All right, watch me. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's something experimental. Once again, it's just up my alley. Let me try. Let me tinker with that idea. Something good came into my mind right now. Let's see what I can do with that idea. You know.
Hey, like, I believe in you, dude.
Oh, okay. I just got a really good idea. Okay, hold on. Let me type this up real quick. I'm like literally right now. Like, oh, that's
anyone
lit.
That's listening to this podcast. I'm so used to Mods having these like brain blasts in the middle of the conversation.
What am I, Jimmy? Brain blast.
Dude, you'll like, it's the same thing all the time. You're just like, oh, I have an idea. And then, like, you just go to type it and you stop the entire conversation. I'm like, thank you for leaving this mess all over our hypothetical call table.
Oh my gosh, croissant. I love Jimmy Neutron, bro. Brain blast, hell yeah. I don't know. It's just like it's such a unique. Like, if we've got, like, once again, similar to what the tweet said, we've got such astounding potential. You know what I mean? Like, we've got such potential. I just want to tap into that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Tap that potential, dude.
Oh, okay. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this. Like, I really am. Okay, cool.
Look at this dude.
Once again, I just I didn't expect to have this idea.
You never do.
I never do. I don't know. I'm making, like, I don't think this is a secret, but I'm responding to a lot of the tweets that I got in that thread where I asked for like a controversial or unpopular opinion about our community. And one of them was like, you know, be more adult oriented, and it's like, well, we can't because YouTube doesn't want us to, you know. And even though I'm not restricted, I just don't want to do that. It's like, I'm just not that kind of person, you know, like, oh yeah, and I banged this bitch, you know, like I'm not.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not that kind of person, you know, like I just don't tell that kind of stories. And so another thing that was interesting that I read was, why does it feel like you guys are lying all the time? And I didn't answer this in the video, but I think we are. Every one of us is lying. All of us are liars, you know. Because Tim and I talked about this, but like when we make our script, you know, we omit a few details, you know, like, you know, like that may either not be as comedic or perhaps takes too long to say or just is unimportant, right? But then is the omission, is letting out those details lying, you know?
Lying by omission.
Yeah, exactly. Lying by omission, right?
No, I don't believe that's true.
You don't believe
I don't think that's. I don't think that's the proper. Okay, because. All right. Okay. To put an example of what you're saying. Okay, say that I was talking to you about like a story that just happened. Like literally, like before I came into this freaking call, like I was outside and something happened to me, and I sit down and I'm like, Moz, and like I think it over in my head. And the thing that happened was I went to the corner store. I pet this one dog. It bit me on the hand. I'm bleeding. I went to the corner store. I couldn't find the milk that I was going to get. So like I ran outside, I fell on my face, and now I have a big bruise and I'm here. If I omitted the fact that I got like bit by a dog, it doesn't make me a liar. It just means maybe I didn't want to tell you that I got bit by a dog. That doesn't mean I'm a liar. I don't think that, like, how does that suddenly make my story sound like either a lie or that it's fake? If you had that entire story with like Casey, and in the process of like, I don't know, whatever, you like, I don't know, like he tried yelling at her from behind the window, Casey! Like, if you omitted that, it doesn't
Funny
make
you
you a
mentioned that.
liar.
Because with the Casey story, that's like one of the ones that I was thinking about. Because in a lot of our stories, we do leave out a few details, but it's not. I'm not saying it invalidates the entire video. I'm just saying it perhaps, we're removing some of the contextual information that leads up to the final ending or punchline over each of our videos, right? Like in the
Yeah.
Casey video, what I left out was after she sang and I raised the thing and she laughed and she grabbed my heart. What actually happened afterwards was I went to the store and I sat down and I just listened to her sing one or two more songs, right? And then my friends pull me out and then went off to do whatever, right? But and then I removed that information because it's just like, what does that add? You know what I mean? Like that doesn't do anything.
That's my own point, however, is the matter of like, it doesn't, unless the context of like what you took out like manipulates the story in any way to make you seem like you're lying. That's when it matters. Like to say like in my video with like Chad is a perfect example. Like obviously, I knew him for an entire year. I'm not going to tell people a year's worth of things that wound up happening. But like let's say if like in that entire scenario that I said where he like took me to the back of the school and it was all weird and like pinned me up against the wall, if at any point in that conversation he like asked me to like do something or act a certain type of way and I choose to omit that in order to make him sound like a worse person, that's important information. But you sitting there listening to two more songs, literally, like, that could have happened and it could have not happened and it wouldn't change anything. So like for people to say things like oh, you guys always sound like you're lying, like you can have that opinion, you can have that thought. I don't think that argument is a good way to like suggest that we are like indeed liars.
But we do that though.
Like not like in the sense of like, okay, this makes it more dramatic. If I'm making something more dramatic, I just illustrate that with like the joke, you know what I mean? Like to let people know that like, yeah, obviously it didn't happen that way. This is a gag and it's meant to be taken as a gag. Like when Adam's doing the whole like obviously, yeah, Chad like ran down a hill and he like fell and he like hurt himself and he screamed. But did he like did he do all the crap that Adam specifically said? No, but like it's a gag and it's meant to be taken that way.
Yeah.
Whereas like sprinkling in something that's technically false and then going out of your way to tell people that it is, like that's when like you then make people question if like your gag or your thing is wrong because you said it was like a lie. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a little weird. Like that's why I think it's fair to question like, does that make it better? I don't really know.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like all the moral aspect. Like, okay, I've been watching this show called The Good Place, and it deals with a lot of ethical problems as in each episode, and I love that. I wanted to make a show about that, but then they already did it. And so, like, thinking about the moral and ethics that we follow as not only just YouTube and content creators, but as animated content creators with a primarily younger audience watching, it does kind of beg all these questions. Like, is it worth it to make adult-oriented content? Is it like there's all these like minor questions that we have to ask of ourselves. I think it is we do have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Like if I was making videos like Filthy Frank and iDubbbz mainly aimed at like an older audience, I guess I could get away with a lot more stuff. But I am almost hyper aware that we kind of have to be careful that we're making content for children. And even though we can make stories about like how I cheated in school, I don't think I want to make a story about like my experiment with drugs, how I murdered someone, how to hide a body.
I mean, stabbing your brother wasn't enough, Maz.
Listen, that's just a funny story, right? I guess if I killed somebody and it was funny, I guess I would say it,
Don't demonetize this podcast.
I did almost want to add an ARG element. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Who cares? I already said it. So in my videos, I like the idea of establishing a lore, like what Steven tries to do. But I think the problem with that is Steven makes it too ham-fisted, like really ham-fisted lore element. I think if we were to make it more subtle, more like an ARG, allowing people to piece together what happened from bits and snippets in the background, I think that's way more engaging than having it shoved down our throat, you know? And so I might do it. Who knows? I still might. And it's up to the audience to figure out what lore that I'm setting up behind, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of already are like establishing, and this is actually something I was thinking about earlier. A lot of people establishing their own little universes in their videos, like things that, like, even just with the inclusion of like characters drawn a certain way, like Turtles is a perfect example of like living in this world where there are like gummy people and people that are basically made out of bread and you know, like all this other stuff. Or like you're starting to add all your little Martian aliens like in your videos in the background, and like kind of almost solidifies the idea of like you definitely living on this planet of eyeless people.
Waiting to see Rebecca Parham. If we ever work together, she'll be the only person on my planet with eyes. That's it. That's only her.
Yeah.
And then everyone will be like, you know, everyone's like, bald, bald. They'll be like, eyes, eyes, eyes. My bald.
My bald?
Yeah, it's because I switched it. Get it?
Oh my god! I mean, yeah. I was actually. Someone mentioned that. I don't know who. They were like, Rebecca Parham and Maz can't collab because then she'll just be a person without a face.
With no face, dude. Heck yeah. That's hilarious.
God. That's terrifying. You'd have to emote her entirely through eyebrows.
I know, right? No, that would be terrifying. It's really creepy to have somebody with no face.
Freaking slender Rebecca.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. Slender Rebecca's the way to go.
Dude.
That's like a Halloween thing, you know? That's what definitely... We should have done that for a Halloween thing.
For Halloween.
Dude, I lost the bet with Cypher then, man. I lost the bet.
Oh, yeah!
Literally didn't even get halfway, you know? Freaking sucks.
I mean, no, you were close. Like, you're close to halfway. You're closer than I am.
I think last year I got 100K at the end of 2017. And then at the end of 2018, I got 412K. I think back then, Cypher Den was 300K. Or no, she was 600K back then. I remember, and I made that bet with her. And everyone's like, "What are you doing? You're stupid." And I was like, "Shut up! You're stupid. You're stupid."
Who's laughing now, Mom?
But I think it's good because actually it's perfect because I'm working on a Valentine's video and I can just color my hair pink for that. It's actually thematic, but also, you know, I lose the bet.
Yeah, maybe people won't even know unless you mention it.
I will mention 100%. Like, listen, I took the L. Maybe I'll mention it subtly. Like, hey guys, it's Valentine's and I lost a bit myself, and so I'm gonna color my hair pink. Yay! And then color my beard pink as well. That'll be so weird. That'll be so weird.
Oh man. I'm just so used to you being like having your blue aesthetic. Can't picture you.
Blue and gray, but now it's gonna be blue and pink, baby.
Pastel colors. Yeah, what a soft boy.
No, bro, I'm not gonna be pastel. What do you feel about the longevity of some of the people in the community? You know, like who will keep going? You know, who's gonna stop? Who's gonna keep going?
Ooh.
Because I think now that we are approaching, you know, like I've been here for 2 years. James has been here for what, 5 years? Domix has been here for like 8 years, you know, like, like, who do you think will drop off, you know? Because animation's hard, man.
I feel like that's a little, I won't deny that that's almost a difficult question because in a way you're asking me to
name
label people that I know and see like who has that lasting potential, who has the conviction. Like, I don't want to question anyone's conviction to stay on the platform, but because you never know, like even a person that's entirely dedicated who be them having a low sub count or a high sub count, something can happen and they might just lose motivation, or something might happen in their real life that makes them pull away from YouTube. It's very hard to kind of say, because like it is so unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah, like, making music and I guess Tony with this entire ordeal. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and that's why, like, it is a little difficult to say. I can say that I'm both surprised and not surprised that you're still here.
What does that mean?
Maz,
What does that mean?
ever since I've known you for 2 years, we've had like 10 different conversations where you were like, I might just leave, man. I might just leave and never come back. And you were very like in your feelings when you said it, obviously. But like, because of the fact that like you especially, no one else, the reason that some people feel forced into doing YouTube is because they have put all their eggs in one basket, right? Like they plan to succeed in YouTube because they don't really feel like they have anything else to really turn to, and this is just like okay, this is it, this is the thing that we're going to do, and even if we're having a tough time, we have to succeed because we literally just have to. You are one of the few people that I can think of that I'm at least like close to, that, like you said yourself many times to me even now, is if YouTube suddenly went bad tomorrow, you would be fine, because first and foremost, you are like a medical professional. You are going to be a doctor. You are going to, get all that sorted out, and you're going to be working out there in the field, taking care of people, doing that. YouTube really isn't your main focus in life. You're passionate about it and you really love it, but like whenever you would tell me I might just leave because of all the stuff that was going on, I was like, yeah, you know what? You could leave because you have so many other things that wait for you in the real world, and not just screaming your yeets into a microphone for a bunch of kids.
How dare you? I feel attacked right now. I'm literally shaking and crying right now. Okay?
I'm sorry. I know you're not offended by that, but like, it's just, out of everyone, like, if you did leave, I know you'd be fine. So I guess that's one of the reasons why, like, sometimes I just thought maybe one of those days, like, my friend was just gonna be off YouTube and I wouldn't see him post anymore. But then you just had this big surge of like, no, frick all of you, I will have it all. And then you just went ham.
I will have my cake and I will eat it. Right? I will take this potato chip.
You will eat it too.
I will eat the cake so hard. I want to hit 1 million subscribers and I'm gonna quit. Like just like, that's it. All right, I did it, guys. And then I'll drop back to 999 and I'll be like, all right, I'm back, boys. Just for one more.
One more time.
I don't know. Like, I guess I'll see. I'll think. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like I presented is about the positive and negative. Like this is something that I don't have to stick with, but I'm choosing to because I do enjoy YouTube. I enjoy this entire world, and I love it, and I want to stay in it, right? And that's why it's just like I'm stubborn like that, I'm dogmatic to the point where it's like I've like once I put my mind to something, I go insane to reach it. Even putting myself, mentally, physically at risk, I don't care because I just want to achieve what I want to achieve. And so that's why it's like I don't have to stick with it. I just choose to, right? And I think my conviction is just that's why it's like that, and because I can experiment, nothing's too stale for me yet. And that's why I'm saying if I hit 1 million, I might quit. Like, that's a joke, obviously. But it's also, like, it's because I think when I hit 1 million, I don't think even I can deny that that's, like, a point where it's like, okay, I've reached it. You know what I mean? Like, what if I am able to get a gold play button, like, even I can't look at that and say, I still suck. I need to get there, Like, I think that's it.
No, like I mean, one could say like, no, we're gonna aspire to diamond instead. Like, no, like I think
like
literally I wouldn't quit. But
no, yeah. I don't know. Once again, this are all just like hypotheticals about what might happen in the future.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, because I said this. Are you? Is there any amount of surprise that I am still here? Because I didn't think I'd still be here personally.
Well, you're dumb, and every time you're like, I don't know if I can get there, I'm like, shut up.
We
Shut up.
literally had this conversation yesterday.
Yeah, shut up. You can get there. All right. I don't have time for your doubts. You can get there and you will get there. So just keep going at it, you know? And then you're just like, oh well, and then you get there, you know what I mean? It's like
Maz is over here consoling someone with a problem, and then like I walked up to him like, wait, Maz, I'm having doubts about YouTube again. And he just like slaps me away.
I
like,
just slap you across the face, like, shut up.
Get back to animating.
Okay, go back to your basement, just start animating.
Anytime I'm down, I go up there for the slap. Like, thanks, Maz.
Yeah, it's like you always say like, I don't upload as much. Yeah, but you've got that thing that Rebecca Parham does, in which you don't have to upload all the time, because when you do, we know that it's going to be quality. You know what I mean? It's a quality over quantity picture with y'all, and it's working well. You know, you guys are both real successful in this community, and like you're well known in this community. So it's like, what else could you want? You know, more success, I guess. But it's like other than that. I don't know. It's like, am I surprised that you're still here? Not really. Like, not really. I never once thought you would quit and never stop. It's like, well, you know, you're using your dirty, tiny hands and using it to make a future for yourself, you know.
These filthy mitts.
These filthy, filthy hands of yours. And then, like, I bet his hands are dirty. And it's just the Tattletale Strangler's hands, you know. It's stupid. I love that entire scene, dude. I took his hands and I put in the new video because I love his hands.
Yes, I noticed that. Like Adam's, like the Hans, man.
Yeah, the Hans. It's freaking terrible Australian accent, garbage.
You don't have one. Don't judge.
How dare you? How dare you? Take that back right now, okay? I'll punch the glass right now.
You love that audio.
That is it's a callback to me and Adam's, like, our video, but it's also just pure terror from that kid, you know. It's like actually terrified, and so that's why I love it. It's just so funny to me to just listen to that.
It's like, tell me the first time you used it in that one. You used it with Adams. I used it in the pants ripping one. It's like, we're not going home. We're going to the store. And you just hear the kid.
Okay, that kid's a different one. That kid is the Call of Duty screaming one. I just love screaming kids because whenever they scream, it's with terror in their like. They don't have to pretend to scream because they're screaming off the top of their lungs. And I love it. Oh, that's gonna be a quote. Some of them Muslims children scream.
I was gonna say, this is a family-friendly kid content. You're from the TwoAMaazing himself. You're welcome.
Scream for me, please.
Oh God, please, again, don't demonetize this podcast. Well, this is supposed. When Maz started this, he was like, "I want the Chatellite to be this one-on-one, very personal kind of thing, like not as memey, not as weird, you know." And like, I listened to this and I'm like, Maz,
It's because, like, I think I didn't want it to just be devoid of memes, you know. Like, it's just more an inside look into more of my analytical side, I guess, the more articulate side of me, instead of me going, you know, like all the time. And
yeah, man.
Obviously, similar to Katzoon's one, it's not going to be completely devoid of my sense of humor. That's just who I am as a person, you know.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I guess it's just an alternate look into me with one other person, right?
Yeah.
Just Maz and a friend 5 meters apart because we're not gay. Hey. Yeah, I don't know. It's just an alternate, just more content to my audience, really, you know.
Yeah, this man is more than just mayonnaise, you guys.
Exactly. You know, I got my own channel. I've got my second channel with behind the scenes and Chattellites now. And I've got my voice chat podcast. And then I've got like all these other ideas that I'm working on at the same time. Let's see where it goes, you know.
Yeah, I will say, I never thought that your behind the scenes thing was going to be structured the way that it like was when I found it. I was kind of surprised that that's the direction that you decided to take. Like
What
literally,
do you
like
mean?
you go outside and like lay in the grass and just reminisce on what you did behind the scenes instead of actually like showing a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So I
It's
just like
because like the behind the scenes in the very first behind the scenes I explained it. Because if you wanted behind the scenes, it would just be me sitting on a table going like, PJ, I hate this. You know, like what else would it be? It would just be really
I mean,
boring.
no, that's not entirely true. Like you show me, like twice now. You more like in recent memory, you've shown like like freaking Maz over here. He sends me well, I'm on a stream, okay? Like I'm streaming, and he sends me this little clip of him being a dork, like singing the SpongeBob like ripped his pants like song, and just like in the middle of his recording, and I'm like, what is this? What
But
is?
see, but that's in my behind the scenes though. That's in it.
Yeah,
Like,
but
what do
that's
you
the thing
need?
that like you can have moments like that all the time, or even like again when you like pinged me in DMs and I was like, oh, what's this? And then I was over here like, look at his little dance, like he was like giggling to himself.
Shut
You
up!
can do that, like.
I guess I could. It's just that like it's just an easy to make video for me, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to, like, as bad as this may sound, the behind the scenes are obviously just the behind the scenes on my second channel, you know what I mean? It's not going to be my primary focus to spend a lot of time on. All the time that I have, I spend to my university or my main channel stuff. And I guess I could just record me voicing the audio, and I guess I could also record myself just during the process, I guess. But that's just more work added onto my already thin plate. So I think that after talking for like what 50 something minutes, I think that should be more than enough for our for this first episode of the Chatellite.
Yeah, thanks for
I'm
having
still
me.
I'm unsure about what I'm gonna even have as the music or the title screen or anything. But let's just hope that I think of something cool. Maybe I'll just have this video start, just straight up, just start.
Or like it could be like a little satellite ship thing floating in space, and then like space sounds. You know what I mean? They have like the
Mhm.
generic, like technically it's silent in space, but they always put sound effects, and then
Like a
it
little
cuts to the
like
inside of it.
I am gonna put the ambience as the background music for this. Like definitely, that's what I was gonna do. But as part of the beginning, who knows? I'll think of something.
Yeah, you got
All
this.
right. Thanks for coming along, PJ, for this little first episode of the Chatellite. Thanks for having
Yeah.
a chat with me for literally almost an hour.
Thanks for choosing me to be the technical first episode of this. I am honored.
Hopefully this goes well. Hopefully people enjoy this look into the inside the mind of there you go, inside the mind of Jake Paul, inside the mind of
Inside the
Maz.
mind of TwoAMaazing.
All right, laters everybody,
Later.
and how do I even end this off?
I was gonna say, what's your catchphrase?
What's your catchphrase? Chatellite.
What do they say in space? Like,
Houston, we got a problem. I'll think of something. Maybe I'll add it after the fact. Okay, I'll add it after the fact. I'll just be like, and then that'll be it.